Welcome, welcome. This is Alfyn Gestoso here with JMG Real Estate, the Raise team. So, if you are, let's say, a first time home buyer, or even thinking about stepping into homeownership soon, then you're definitely in the right place because I have Jeremiah here with Guild Mortgage. He'll go ahead and introduce himself here momentarily. But I'm so excited to kind of go over some new news and some things about the market. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Yeah. Hello. I'm so excited to be talking to you again. But yeah, no, it's really exciting, right? Because yesterday the Feds met for their second to last meeting for 2025. They meet again in December, I believe, the 18th and 19th, and they
Mm-hmm.
just cut interest rates by a quarter of a percent again. And when we say interest rates, it's
Yeah.
the overnight rate that lending institutions use to reconcile books at the end of the day, and it's tied to mainly like credit cards and auto loans and home equity lines and stuff like that. Depending on all these things, right? But it does not directly impact mortgage rates because mortgages are based on the bond market, and that's a totally different realm than what the overnight rate is. But all that to say, we've seen interest rates just kind of hold steady. They did just worsen, actually, just a little bit after the rate cut, which is very normal and typical and historically accurate. But we do see a settling of the market after a rate cut. So I would anticipate in the next week or two, we'll start to see some other data come out that shows, okay, well, the Fed's cut interest rates. So how are the markets going to plan for this in the future and the next rate cut? Because a lot of them already anticipate what's going to happen, but then they begin planning for the next set of circumstances. So the rates you see right now have already been kind of priced in with yesterday's, announcement, if that makes sense.
Yes. Okay. So as a first time home buyer, like how should buyers interpret can't talk.
Interpret.
Interpret that like in layman's terms, like how should they look forward to, okay, are is it going to be a good enough change to where we can jump now? I mean, honestly, like what I see in the real estate side as well, regardless, it is still a buyer's market. So we have really great deals going on. The rates is just definitely a bonus. But
Yeah, true.
what are your thoughts?
No, I agree. Like if you're a first time buyer and you've just been kind of wondering, is this a good time? Should I wait for the right interest rate? Do I want to wait until rates are at 4% or 3% again, or do I feel comfortable with the payment? And I think that is all subjective, of course, to like you as a person. So if you've been in the kind of idea, I guess, or mindset of like, I should get into a home. Maybe 2025 was supposed to be the year, maybe
Mm-hmm.
2026 will be for me. Then I would say it's a really good time. It's a really good time in comparison to where we were in like 2023, even and even in 2024, because we have more inventory than we did before, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can speak to that. The inventory is like way
More
more.
choices, yeah.
So you have more choices. You also have lower interest rates. Rates are lower now overall than they have been in the last,
Yes,
several months.
absolutely. So we tell clients, yes, there's opportunity, but also we also tell them, hey, there's also some type of urgency, right? Because you
Yes.
wait, home prices change, competition might shift as well. So even like like even with talking about the slightest difference or a difference in rates, I feel like makes a huge difference because now you can afford more. More,
You
even
can.
though it's like, yeah, your budget kind of shifts a little bit whenever there's a shift in interest as well. What would you
Yeah.
say?
No, it's true. So I mean, like if you run the numbers right from like last year, the year before to
Mm-hmm.
now, if you have buyers that were qualified for X amount, maybe they qualify for 25,000 more house, or maybe 40,000 more house, or maybe they can buy their rate down even further than they could before, and they qualify for 60,000 more house. There's so many
It's a lot.
things that we can
Yeah.
look at, right? Um, and so all that to say, if you're ready, then I think it is a good time because you can get some good deals.
Absolutely. And now switching gears a tiny bit to things we don't always like get to talk about, I feel like. What are some key items you think you wish like first time home buyers knew?
Just in general, yeah.
Just in
Um,
general, yeah. The three, like, two or three big ones, like, because I know people think, oh, down payment, down payment, down payment, but people don't really talk about closing costs, or like what are reserves, stuff like that. So, for in your perspective and your words, like, what are your thoughts on that, on those?
yeah, I think the top, if we were to say like three things that first time home buyers like don't really think about in the very beginning before they start the process
Yeah.
is your credit score is not going to be impacted that much by a
Mm.
hard pull. And I'll demystify come in my back. Hello.
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 I can hear you.
Am I back in?
Yes. All right. While we wait for your mind, let's see if he pops back in. There you go. Hi, hi.
I had a call and then it ruined
Oh,
everything.
it happens
uh,
when we go live on the phone, so it's okay.
I apologize. So I was gonna say, so credit, because we all believe that it's gonna hurt your score a lot, and then a lot of
Mm,
people also believe that if you get your credit pulled by a lender, you have like a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever it is before your
mm,
credit is gonna be, impacted again per se, and that's just simply not the truth.
you're
So like
right.
if you have a credit pull today and then tomorrow your American Express updates on your credit report because it updates on the 31st of every month, right? Even there's not
Mm-hmm.
31 days every month, right? But then on Monday, when I pull it, I could theoretically get a different credit score. So that's something that's really important that I think a lot of people don't realize. So just because you had your credit pulled on Monday doesn't mean that it's going to be the same on Tuesday. Um,
Mm,
the second thing I think is really, really important is a lot of people believe that you need to have the same job for 2 years, and you don't.
yes.
You don't. You can have, technically, there's rules, right? But you can have more than one job in 2 years and you can change industries. However, it has to make sense, right? So, if you go from a cashier to a banker to a truck driver, we have to kind of figure out why you made those decisions. Were you like
Mm,
working on licensing? Were you going to school to learn it? Were you holding out and working odd jobs until you got the one you wanted? Like, what is the weird, story behind it, right? So, we can figure that out. So I think that's something that's really interesting that a lot of people don't realize is you don't have to have just one singular job for 2 years. What do you think about that? Because those two are good. I have a third one, but
yes, that's really good because I feel like some hesitation will come from, oh, I just changed jobs. Oh, I haven't been
yeah,
there too long and stuff like that. And I feel like that holds people back. So that's actually a really good one. I was over here
yeah.
thinking, yeah, other things which are important as well, but that's good because those are some topics that people don't realize. Like, no, we can actually look into it.
Yeah,
That's a
like
good one. I love it.
the loans are set up to be understanding to a degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a single parent and you had to quit and then you had to get a different job, or someone died and you had to take time off work and then you had to go
Mm-hmm.
work part time in Minnesota, like whatever it is, like we'll figure it out kind of thing. So I think that's really important to know. And then the third thing that I also think a lot of people don't realize is that you can have a ton of people on a loan to qualify. There's not a limit. So, like, if you have a mom and dad, maybe they don't qualify a loan, they need the son, and then the son helps a little bit, but then they need the sister, and then the sister helps a little bit, and then we have the aunt, like we'll close a loan with 6 people on it. So, if
See
you
that I
need
don't
it to
think people
qualify, you
also
can.
know that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is so
they don't.
true. There you go.
So,
Well, that's why we're here. We're here to just, give little, nuggets of wisdoms, and, to whoever watches this now or later, they'll be able to learn more and more as we go. So I truly love that. And I know there's so much more we can talk about for our first time buyers, people that have their own business,
this is
DJ,
true.
odd, like different jobs, right? So
Yeah.
things like that. So I feel
It's
like
crazy.
first time home buyers truly like that demographic needs to be a bit proactive, definitely working closely with a lender and an agent from day one, because I feel like you could waste so much time just looking through Zillow, picking a home that you love, and next thing you know, it's something that's really off budget, off things, off what you could really get. So we could definitely save a lot more time, energy, and maybe even some money because driving places and stuff like that for some people. Because I know some clients do that, right? Some people are like, I want to just shop before I can get pre approved and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of energy and time and money that's put into just shopping when.
Well, to
So,
me, like if you're a buyer in the market and like let's say you're on Zillow and you see a few houses, that Zillow mortgage payment calculator is just so everyone knows PSA is like 1,000% wrong. Like it's never right, it's never accurate, it's never even close to being true. So do not rely on that. And then also, I will say that inevitably you'll have to get a pre-approval letter unless you're paying cash for the house, right? Like unless you're either paying cash or you're taking a loan. So like one way or the other you're going to have to do that process, and I feel like a lot of first time buyers are really scared of it, and it's not scary. Like we just have to look at some information and then give you all of the options you have. But I get why it's a little intimidating, but eventually you'll have to do it, right? Because you can't just shop forever.
absolutely. So totally right. It's about being prepared, having your finances lined up, and being ready to just act as well when the time comes. So what's your advice on being ready from your side?
Yeah, so I would say a lot of first time buyers and even people that have bought before, they don't give enough preparation time because of whatever reason. Maybe we're scared to do it, or maybe there's no homes on the market we like, or maybe, like we were saying, you think you need to have certain time, on a job or whatever it is. But I would say the best piece of advice is just get started like at least 6 to 9 months before you plan to buy,
Yes.
because if anything comes up, like credit, income, employment, savings, we need to work on XYZ, we can have the time frame to do that. The worst thing that I see a lot of first time buyers do is they say, our lease is up in 21 days and we need to buy a house now. But then we look at it and we have to work on stuff, credit or income, or we don't qualify for X, or maybe we need this program, but we have to do these things, and then you have to rent for a whole other year. But if you would have started 6 months prior to that, you might be ready and you could close by the time you're moving out, right? So that's the biggest piece I would
Yes.
say is start ahead of time.
Oh yeah, I've talked to a couple and same scenario. Oh no, we have time. I'm like, you want to
No,
kind of see where you stand right now, months
yeah.
before your lease ends. Because then what happens is they can't do it on time and they renew a whole year again. So, yep. So for someone that's watching this and it says, yes, I want to do this, but I'm nervous, and I'm confused. What's our next step? What do they need to do with us today?
What do you guys need to do? So, yeah, if you're nervous and you're a little anxious about it, just reach out to one of us and we'll walk you through the process. We'll hold your hand, we'll make sure you feel good, we'll give you a cup of water, maybe a little chocolate, whatever you need, and we'll make sure you feel like you understand what's going on. And that's basically it. Like at the end of the day, all our job is, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, is we're here to support your journey, but also encourage you to make the best decision. So, the best way to do that is to start with a pre approval and meet with Alfyn and figure out what all of your stuff looks like, right? In terms of like the market and all the things that you offer. And then from there, we work in tandem. And then what's going on. So I would say that that is the best piece. So send us a direct message, or is that what they say, a DM
Yes.
or a PM? I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
A DM,
DM,
and
PM.
yeah, whatever. A text,
A
an
text,
email, a call,
yes.
um, a telegram or a telegraph. I don't know what is that app. I don't know. I don't use it. But yeah, that would be great.
Yes, let's make it happen. You'll definitely feel seen with us, valued, and super ready, I feel like, because we are here to really provide you data to make you feel confident, to make you feel confident to move forward. So again, thank you so much for hopping on. I can't wait to keep educating and putting out value stuff where not a lot of people get to, I feel like take in prior to going into their journey. So if you are a first time home buyer or you know someone, definitely tag them in the comments, or if you have any questions, just feel free to text or DM us.
Yeah, send us a DM.
Yes. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Okay, bye.
I'm like, where's my end here?